Okay, good evening, dear analysts. Good evening, all, and you're welcome to Dear Analyst. Dear Analyst is the all things webinar for big data, machine learning, data science, and data analytics, anything, and even AI as well. So anything across that value chain, that's what we discuss here on Dear Analyst. So Dear Analyst, we run Tuesdays and Thursday sessions. Our Tuesday sessions has been on pause for a while. We're just going to pause it maybe for the month of October and we'll kick off again month of November. While for Thursdays is the live labs where we actually come and learn the different hard skills with data science. So we started with Python, and from Python there we've now moved straight to Excel. You get to actually go back to Excel and actually go and learn the basics. Because if you're in data analytics, it's one critical tool you should actually be able to use. You get, so I must say a very big welcome. Today, our facilitator is on ground. His name is Aziz. Aziz is a very good friend of mine and my associate. He's been working with me for months right now, close to a year. Maybe February will be 1 year. So today is going to be taking Excel. You get, so I actually then discovered that it's actually good. Just actually give platform to other young analysts or other vibrant analysts who are actually doing very wonderful stuff. Very wonderful stuff. And why not just allow them actually teach? Because I can't all just do audio episode. Today is I think 59, episode 59 or so. You get to, it cannot just be all Deji doing it all by himself. You get to, the dream just collapse one day. Yes, all the videos for Python classes are on YouTube. All the videos for Python classes are on YouTube. So you could just go ahead. So right now I'm turning over the meeting to Aziz. So Aziz will be taking over the class and then teaching. So Aziz, I'm making you host. You get, so you are now the host of the meeting, and the meeting is live on YouTube as well too. So I'll stop sharing my screen. So Aziz can then take over. Aziz, please go ahead and share your screen. Is Aziz there? Hello Aziz, can you hear me? Hello Aziz, can you hear me? Please share your screen with us. Hello Aziz, can you hear us? Or can anybody hear Aziz? Hello, I can't hear you, Aziz. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, I think I can hear you, but you seem far away from your laptop.
No, I'm not. Is it fine now?
Maybe you still need to increase your volume a little bit more. But at least we can see your screen. That's the good news. We can see your
Okay.
screen. Your voice is very low. Your voice is very low. So you might need to maybe speak louder or come closer to your computer.
Can you hear me now that clear now?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I am Aziz and I'm a very young analyst. I'm also learning, so I don't really know much yet. So today would last week Pelumi took us started our pivot table with us. So I'll be continuing from where he stopped. But before then, I would like us to do a little basics of what Excel is or various attributes of Excel. So for the purpose of this class, Power Pivot is we'll be working with this data, right? We'll be working with this laptop sales data. Can everybody see my screen? Hello. Can everybody see my screen? Is anybody there?
Yes, we can see your screen. We can see your screen.
Yes, so for Excel is made up of multiple cells, right? So these cells make up rows and column. So for you to be able to do anything on Excel, you need to understand the layout. And briefly, any cell that you click on currently that you have, like currently on our tutorial, is usually the active cell. So if you need to edit the active cell, just double click, then you edit. Do we get that? So I'm just going to quickly run through this before we move to Power Pivot ASAP. Then we have the columns. The columns are identified by alphabet, just as you have a, this is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3, this is column 4, this is column 5. Then you have rows. Rows are identified by numbers 1, 2, 3. So whenever you are on an active cell, or you may want to identify the cell. So the best way to identify a cell is to look at the address bar. So this is what is called the address bar, right? So for this particular active cell, the identification is F7, meaning that it is sitting on column F and row 7, right? So having said that, I will now move straight to the essence of today's webinar, which is Power Pivots. So what is Power Pivots? Anybody who has an idea of what Power Pivots is?
Hello, we can't hear you.
Anybody with an idea of what Power Pivots is? Okay, please drop your answer as you hear me. So Power Pivot basically is meant for summarization of data. Just as we have this laptop sales data, we have a lot of rows, about we have over 300 rows, and you have about 10 columns. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can use Power Pivot to summarize this data. And what that does is, instead of, let's say you want to know the price of all MasterCard payments by MasterCard, instead of trying to use your pen and paper, trying to count the number of MasterCard and trying to sum everything, you can easily use Power Pivot to do that. So how do you make that possible? So the number one thing you may want to know is just be on any active cell within the data array. Then you go to insert. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your
Hello.
screen. We can see your screen. Yes, we can see your
So
screen.
move to insert. As long as you are on any active cell within the data array, so you just go to insert, then you click on Power Pivot, right? So a pop-up would show, which would ask you to either select a table, which is the data array that I mentioned earlier, or if you are using an external data source. Let's say we did not have this data opened before now, and you want to use an external data source. Click on the second option. And the next one is asking you, do you want a new worksheet that says, do you want the pivot table to be on this same sheet as this data that you have, or you want a new sheet entirely? But because we want a new sheet, we leave it as new sheet. Then we click on OK. So we have our pivot table 1. We have our pivot table 1. Is everybody following me?
Yes, yes. I will share the data in the comment section. So I'll share the data in the comment section and as well on the Telegram group.
Yes, so
So
we
I think
have our pivot tables. So first thing we need to know about pivot table is, basically pivot table has 4 elements. So, or let's say it has 4 parts. So you have what you call the rows part, you have the columns part, you have the filter, then you have the data itself. So this is the data as I explained at the beginning of this class. Then everything you will be doing on the pivot table would be based on your filter, your rows, your column. So basically, pivot table works by what? Dragging and dropping. It works by dragging and dropping. So let's get to it. So as I said earlier, I want to know what? The total sum of all the products, right? I want to know the total sum of all the products. So what you do is you come to product type, right? Then you drag this to the row. So we have our products. So in our data, we have four kinds of products. But if you look at it clear, this is three. But because the data is not cleaned, I'm sorry for using an unclean data. Maybe in another class, we learn how to clean data. So you have gold, platinum laptop, and silver laptop. Why in the real sense, you just have three, right? So we want to know the total sum of gold laptop, the total sum of platinum laptop, and total sum of silver laptop. So what you do is you go to price and you drag it and drop it in the value bar. So you have this. So the total sum of the price for gold laptop cost a total sum of what? 489,600. But then we don't know the currency, right? So you may want to add the currency so that whenever you are presenting this report to, let's say, an investor, the investor would know the currency in which he or she is investing. So how do you do this? You select the figures, right? Then you come to this part of your menu bar. Then you go to accounting. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can. Good stuff. Well done.
So you click on accounting. So the
Yes.
default is dollars. But then we all know that in Nigeria, traditionally, we don't spend dollars. So you want to change it to Naira, right? So you come back to this part, then you go to accounting. So you come to this part, then, so the default symbol here is dollars. So you look for Naira. So you go down until you get Naira. So we have Naira here, we have Edo, you have Fulani, that is right. You have Hausa. So let's just pick one. So I'm going with Naira Yoruba. I'm sorry, I'm not being tribalistic. So we have Naira Yoruba. So that's how to do that. Do we get that? Do we all get that part?
Yes, I got it, but I don't know if any one of us wants us to repeat it. Would you like us to repeat again? In the comment section, if you like Aziz to repeat the process again. B, please try to mute yourself. Okay, Abigail got it. B got it. Okay, so B, please try to mute yourself. Good stuff. Who again? Paul got it.
So what we would want to do is want to know the top. Let's say you have a whole lot of laptop type and you want to know the most expensive laptop. So you want to arrange this
Aziz,
like this. So, sir,
please, would you just take it all over again, please? Somebody says, is it the power pivot or a regular pivot at this point? So somebody is asking a question. If you could maybe start all over again, or especially this from where you put the row label and some you get how you put all the products and the likes, please. She's also asking a question. Please, could you help answer her question? The question is it a power pivot or the regular pivot at this point?
it is a pivot table. So it is under power pivot.
Okay, so please can you do this whole step all over again? Thank you.
So from where I started from, we have this data to work with, and I said the essence of power pivot or a pivot table, so to speak, is to summarize data so that it will be easier for you to present your report to whoever you are presenting it to, right? Pardon the nature of this data. I know that it's very dirty. Yeah, this is the data I could quickly get access to. for this class. So for us to create a pivot table, the first thing you have to know is your active cell must be within the data. So what I mean by that is you can be here, or here, right? But then you cannot be on this cell where we have Q4. You cannot be on Q4 because it is outside the data. Your pivot table is not going to see this. So what you want to do is to be within the data, right? So that's, yeah, so we are here, right? So you click on insert, then you go to pivot table. So you have this window pop up. So it's asking, what is the data range? What is the data range? So data range is already clicked because our active cell was inside the data array before we click on pivot table. So if you are working with an empty sheet, you may want to select external source if you don't have the data source opened already. And this is asking you, do you want the pivot table to be on a new sheet or existing sheet? But because we want it to be on a new sheet, we'll click on new sheet, then we hit OK. Do we get that?
Yes, we do.
So you have your pivot table fields. So if you look at the pivot table fields, you will discover that everything you have here, all these options, are your heading in the main data. So in the main data, you have transaction dates, products, price, payment type, name, etc. So if you look at the pivot table, all these options are the headers. So what is left for you to do is just to drag and drop. It's to drag and drop. So I said that for us to know the sum of the total products that we have, the first thing you do is you drag products to the row bar. So you have rows. So this will tell us the unique products that we have in our data set. It will tell us the unique products that we have in our data set. So at a glance, we can see that we have gold laptop, we have platinum laptop, we have silver laptop, right? So what is the sum of the price of gold laptop that we have? What is the sum of the price of platinum laptop? And what is the sum of the price of silver laptop? So to get that, you drop price in the value box. So why you are dropping price in the value box and not the row box is because price, the nature of price is numerical, and you can only add up numerical data. Do you get that? You can only add up numerical data. So for gold laptop, we've gotten 489,600. That's the value of gold laptop in that store. For platinum, we have the value, and for silver, we have the value. So the next thing I did was to show the currency in which these figures are denominated, because you can't just present this to, let's say, your supervisor or an investor. The first thing they will ask you is, are these figures in dollars or in naira or in euros? So you may want to make your report as clear and concise as possible. So how do you put the right currency? What you do is you select the figures. Can you see me? Hello?
Yes, we can see you. Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can see it.
Then you go to what? Accounting. So the default is dollars, right? But then since we are in Nigeria, let's do our local currency. So you come to this point where you have this number format. You click, then it brings out this pop-up window. Then you look for Naira. So you've gotten dollars, euros, yen, and all other currencies. But what we are interested in is Naira. So you click OK. So that is how I got the Naira sign. Any other question? Can I proceed? Can I proceed?
Yes, you can. Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So let's say our unique products are many, such that you can't see everything at a glance. You know that is possible, right? But then you want to get let's say the top two products by price, the top two products by price. How do you do that? From what you have here, you can see that these products are not sorted or arranged by price, right? So you want the most expensive product to be the number one, then the next expensive product, and then till you have the least expensive product. How do you do that? So to do that, you click on this, then you come to more sort options. So we are doing from the most expensive to the least expensive, right? Which is from Z to A. So you are sorting by price, right? Then you click on OK. Can we all see that?
Yes, yes.
So
Good
at a
stuff.
glance, it is easy to denote that silver products are very expensive, and they are even more expensive than what? Gold laptop. Do we get that?
Yes,
You may
yes, we
even
did.
want to sort this further to show the top two expensive laptops. So you just come back to this point, then you come to value filter, then you select top 10. So we are doing what? Top two. You just want to see top two. So you make these two, then we are sorting by price. Don't forget, we are sorting by price. Then you click on OK. So you've got only what? The top two expensive laptops. Can we move on? Hello, can we move on?
Please, in the comment section, let's know if you can move on, if you want
Yes, you
him to
can.
take it
Yes,
again.
yes, you can.
Yes,
Okay.
so I will have to undo that because of the next step. So the next thing we want to do is we want to know we have known the most expensive products, right? So we want to include the countries. Let's try to include the countries. So we know what product is being sold in what country, right? So to do that, you can drag your country to the column box. So at a glance, you can see that in Argentina, you only sell silver laptop. People don't buy gold and platinum laptop. At a glance, you can see that people in Australia, people don't buy platinum laptop. They only buy gold and silver. Like that, etc., etc. So that is how to work around pivot table. Any question? Any question?
Okay, in the comment section, Abigail says you should please take that again. Adding column, adding country to column. Please, can you take that again? Thank you.
Okay, I said that we've seen expensive products by product type. We've seen the most expensive products, right? And we've tried to drill down to see the top two expensive products. So if we are interested in knowing the products that are being sold in each country, we can also add the country option to our pivot table, right? I would have said that we should add country to rows, but if we do that, the pivot table will look messy. I won't like the way it looks. Let's try that. So can you see this? Well, it's not so messy, but then at a glance, you can't tell which particular product is being sold in a particular country. So let's move country to column and see if that will be better. So can we see this? So this tells us what product sells in what country, right? So from this, we can tell that gold laptop does not sell in Argentina. Sorry. Gold laptop, excuse me. Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Hello?
can see your screen.
Yes,
we can see your screen.
it.
Yeah, so we can tell that gold laptop does not sell in Argentina and some other countries.
Yeah.
So do you have questions before I move on? Can I proceed?
Yes, please, let's proceed. Yes, I think everybody's.
So you can do that for the other options. You can try to see what products are being sold in what state. So just drag and you drop, you drag and drop, you drag and drop. So that's that about that. So the next thing I would like to show us is pivot charts. Pivot charts. How do you create a pivot chart from a pivot table? So the way you do that is you make sure that your active cell is within the pivot table, right? Just stay anywhere within the pivot table. Then immediately, once you are in pivot table, don't mind now, you have this analyze design. You have these two options on your toolbar, analyze design. But once you are outside it, the options is no more there. That's why it is necessary for you to be within the pivot table if you want to create a pivot chart. So you click on analyze. So you come down here, you have the pivot chart. So click on pivot chart. So you have different categories of charts you can create. You have line charts, you have pie charts, you have bar charts. But for the purpose of this session, let us go with column charts. So you click OK. So this is your pivot chart. I'm going to have that here. So can tell me what's the difference between a pivot chart and your normal Excel chart? Difference between a pivot chart and your normal Excel chart. Anybody wants to try?
All right, for the pivot chart, it already gives you, it helps you by predicting the kind of chart you need. But a regular chart, you have to start putting all the fields together and designing it the way you want.
Oh, yeah, that is a very good one. You are correct. Any other person?
No.
Any other person? Any other person? Well, just like you said, pivot charts will give you your charts just like you want it. You don't have to do a lot of formatting. You don't have to do a lot of editing, right? And another difference is that pivot chart is very dynamic. It's very interactive. So what I mean by that is, let's say you want to show this by the country. So you are removing the payment type. So your pivot charts would automatically change. Do you get? So once you add states to this point, it also changes. Just as you tweak the pivot table, your pivot charts it changes. So that's another key difference between your pivot chart and pivot table. Do we all get that?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Do you have questions before I proceed?
No question, thank you.
Any question? So I'll be moving on to drilling down in pivot table. So as I said before the start of the class or at the beginning of the class, pivot table helps us to summarize a data set. So it makes us see the summary of a data set at a glance. But then there will be a situation where you want to know the components of a particular figure. For instance, what we have here says that people that buy silver laptop, they pay the sum of 280,000 using MasterCard. So what adds up to make 280,550. So you may want to know that, right? So how do you do that? Anybody with an idea? How do you know the total figures that makes up 280,550 naira? Does anybody want to try?
Please take the question again.
I said that the essence of one of the essence of pivot table is to make you see a data, the total sum of a data at a glance, right? Just as we have it here.
Yes.
So situations may happen that you want to see the total components, what makes up the components of a particular figure, just as we have it here. You have for silver laptop by Visa, let's say Visa, right? You have 544,850. How do you know the figures, right, or the different purchases that makes up 554,850 naira?
I think you can double click on the value that you want to check. I think it will show what added up together. That's
So
my
let's
guess.
try that. Your guess may be right. Yep. So I guess is
Oh
totally
wow.
right. Yep. So for Visa and the silver laptop, you can see that each silver laptop by Visa costs 1,200, and everything on this table is what? Silver laptop and Visa, silver laptop and Visa. Do we get that? So if you do the same thing for MasterCard, everything you will get will be what? Silver laptop and MasterCard. Let us try that. So for MasterCard, 280,000. Once you double click, you have what? MasterCard and silver laptop. MasterCard and silver laptop. You can do the same thing for platinum laptop. Let's try this. So you have what? Visa Platinum. Do we get that? Do we all understand that?
Yes.
Do we have question? Any question from anybody? Questions? Any question from anybody?
No question.
Questions. So I'll be taking the last part I plan to take for this class, which is filters. How do we filter in pivot table? So there are three ways by which we can filter in pivot table, and the three ways are very legit. It depends on which one you want to use. The first one is the one I showed us, where we try to get the top two expensive products. So the first one is using the sort option. Using the sort option, let's say we want to filter to the top three. So just do the same process I showed us earlier. Then you come to top 10. Then let's do bottom 10, bottom 3 now. So you click on this, you select bottom. Then you change this to 3. Then you make sure this is by price. Then you click OK. So can we see that? So the top 3 products by price are gold laptop, the first platinum laptop, and the second platinum laptop. You will notice something. Immediately we sorted, the chart also what? It also adjusted. So that speaks to why I said that pivot chart is very dynamic. So once you change anything in this pivot table, it reflects in your pivot chart. So back to filtering in pivot table. Do we get the first way of filtering in pivot table?
Yes, I did.
So I'll just Ctrl Z to show us the second way. So the second way is to use the filter box. To use what? The filter box. So since I started, I've only used the value box, the row box, and the column box. But if you look at the first box, you will see that it has what? Filters. It has filters. So the filters box is used for filtering the pivot table. So let's say we want to filter by country, or let's say by payment type. So just drag and drop. So once you do that, you have this box here that is meant for the filter. So I clicked filter by payment type. So you come here, you want to what? Show payments by MasterCard. You select payments by MasterCard, then you click on OK. Can you see that the figures change? So is the chart. Do we get that? Do we get that?
Hello, Aziz. Time up.
No. So let me Ctrl Z. So this is what we have, right? And I explained that the first way we can filter is to do the sort menu. So the second way is to use the filter box. So I tried to filter by payment type, but now let me do filtering by country. So you drag country to the filter box. So once you do that, you have this box up here that tells you that your filtering box is active in pivot table. So to be able to use this, you just click on, then you select the country you want to see. So let's say you want to see Argentina, the products that are sold in Argentina and the payment type in Argentina. So you click Argentina, then you click OK. So can we see this?
Yes, I can.
If you remember earlier, we saw that it's only silver laptop they buy in Argentina. So the filtering also confirms this. And so does the what? So does the pivot chart. So let's say you want to see Argentina and Australia. So you come here, you click select multiple items. You click Argentina, you click Australia, you click Austria, then you click OK. Can you see that?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Any question?
Not from me.
Any other person? Any question? Question? So let's go to the third way we can filter in pivot table. So the third way is to use slicer. If anybody is familiar with Power BI here, you know what a slicer means and you know what a slicer does. So let's clear filter here. So I'm just going to clear this. All okay. So the third option is to use a slicer. So how do you use a slicer? So our first would always stay within the pivot table. Then you come to analyze, then insert slicer. Can we see this? Hello?
Yes, you can.
So you
Yes, I
insert
can. I can see now.
slicer. So let us filter by country. So you want to filter by country. So you just select country. Then you click OK. So you have your slicer just as you have it in Power BI. So you have this. So these are the list of countries in our data set. This is the list of countries in our data set. So if you want to filter by Argentina, click Argentina. If you want to filter by Australia, you click Australia. If you want to filter by Austria, you keep clicking until you get what you want until you get what you want. So those are the three ways you can filter in a pivot table. Those are the three ways you can filter in a pivot table. Does anybody have questions for me? Does anybody have questions for me? Does anybody have questions for me?
Sorry,
Or is there?
I lost out on the third thing because I lost my network. So you may want to take the last option again. Thank you.
All right. So I'm just going to delete this. Right. So let me clear this. So I said the last option is to use a slicer to filter in a pivot table. So for you to be able to use your slicer, don't forget, number one rule in pivot table is to always be within the pivot table, right? And excuse me.
Yeah, I got that. Keep going.
So what you would then do is you go to your analyze, then click on insert slicer. So once you click on insert slicer, you click the option you want to filter by. I need to run now. So we are filtering by country. Click onto it, then you click OK. So you have this. Do you understand this?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. So if you want to filter by Argentina, you just click Argentina. If you want to filter by Australia, you click Australia. If you want to filter by Austria, you click Austria. Etc. Do you get that? Do you understand that?
Yes, I
that helps.
do.
Sure.
Yeah. So we have come to the end of this class. There's still more we can do with pivot table. If Mr. Deji allows me, in my next class on this webinar, I will take the concluding parts of pivot table, and it could be another facilitator that will do that. But for today, I hope your time has been well spent, and the class has been a value add to you. If
So
you
can you paste that YouTube link where you're broadcasting to? Can you paste it in the chat, please?
Are you in the Telegram group chat?
Yes. Are you pasting it there?
Yeah, it will be pasted in the Telegram group chat. I don't have the link here with me, so the host will paste it in the Telegram group chat, or myself will do that after this class. Is that fine?
Sure. Thanks.
All right. So if we don't have any other question, I would like to end this class, and do have a lovely day. Good night. Do have a lovely night.
Thank you. You too. Cheers.
Bye.